Hi, my name is Kati. I'm from Vibrant Life Church in Ellendale, and the title of my sermon today is Free to Forgive. In the book of John chapter 8, we read about Jesus being approached by a group of Pharisees who brought to him a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they wanted to ask him what to do about it. They said, "Teacher, the law say we must stone her, but what do you say?" He said nothing, but instead started writing in the dust with his finger. "All right then, let the one who has never sinned cast the first stone," he said. Slowly, each of the accusers walked away until only the woman remained. Jesus then looked at her and asked her, "Where have all your accusers gone? Did not one of them condemn you?" "No," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you. Go and sin." Now, I'm sure that woman was wondering what she would do next, just like many of us have. We wonder why we are able to move forward with this forgiveness and where doing so will lead us. Which brings me to my first point. We are all guilty. Romans 3:23 says that everyone has sinned and fallen short of God's glorious standard. Many people wonder what Jesus was doing when he was writing in the dust. Some say that he started to write down some of the sins the accusers had committed. He may have made them realize that they too were guilty. Maybe not of adultery, but guilty nonetheless. And they had been forgiven. Sometimes we are the ones accusing. We look at other people and see that they have done something wrong, and we want them to be punished for it, but often forget that we were forgiven for doing the exact same thing. That when we were in that situation, Jesus said, "I do not condemn you." The Bible says that we are all guilty. All of us. Not just the people that don't read their Bibles, not just the people that don't do good deeds, and not just the people that don't go to church, but all of us. Jesus forgave us, so why are we turning around and accusing others when we know that we are also guilty? This brings me to my second and final point. We are freely forgiven. Think about this for a minute. The only one who was qualified to throw a stone didn't. Jesus has every right to pick up that stone and throw it at us, to look at us and start listing off all the things we have done wrong and the punishment we will be receiving for them. Instead, he looks at us in his eyes and says, "I do not condemn you, my child. I forgive you." We have been, Colossians 3:13 says, "Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others." It says to make allowance for each other's faults. It doesn't say that we can go and accuse others who have done worse things than us. It says to forgive them, as Jesus forgave us. We have been forgiven, but there's still the fact that other people may judge and accuse us, and we might turn around and do the exact same thing. Why are we able to forgive others and move forward in the first place? The answer is this: Jesus. He chose to forgive us, not only because he was qualified to do so, but because in doing that, he chose to pay the consequences and take upon his shoulders the punishment that we should so rightfully receive. He chose to forgive us with the hope that we would choose to forgive others instead of accusing them. Not just because we can or should, but because we have been forgiven. Let me leave you with this thought. All of us at one point have been the ones accusing, and at one point we're the ones sinning. But just remember that even when Jesus could have condemned us, he chose to. So why shouldn't we?